how would you kind of analyze the offseason so far for the 49ers? Because it's kind of been a whirlwind.
Obviously, the Deebo situation is heartbreaking. Obviously, we like to get a deal done there, and seeing where everything is going with it, and there's been like hills and valleys of like optimism, and then just not knowing whether or not he's going to be on the team next year. And I've not even a $30 million a year contract is going to fix it. The man doesn't want to get beat up anymore, and I totally get it. I mean, the only reason he was getting beat up is because Jimmy couldn't throw him the football, but now we have Trey Lance who can definitely do that for him. There won't be too many of this running anymore. I mean, they can always fake it to him too.
Mhm.
But I totally get where Deebo is coming from, but I would love to have him on the team next year. So yeah. And then the losing Raheem Mostert, I knew that was a thing that had to be done. Him being out for an extended period of time last season was obviously frustrating, and for a second year straight, and especially after coming off the 2019 season where he was arguing that he was a 10 mil a year plus back. And obviously he proved that wrong the past 2 seasons. He couldn't stay on the field. Granted, yes, he's a huge part of that 2019 Super Bowl run, but it's not going to happen again if he can't stay on the field. And thankfully, we moved on from him. I like what we have in Eli. Sorry, my upstairs neighbor. I like what we have in Eli, and I think he'll be a very, very good back for us. And hopefully the defense can stay healthy, and hopefully our secondary can get better, because that's always a Achilles heel for us as well.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of the quarterbacks, do you see a future in San Francisco for Jimmy?
I would have loved to have given endless chances. I mean, he brought the Niners back from the dead back in 2017, gave them hope, and then obviously he had that ACL injury back in 2018 that ruined the seasons, ruined the 2017 optimism. And then he came back and had the season that he had in 2019. Granted, it wasn't like 44,000 passing yards plus, or like 30, 40 plus touchdowns, like you would see in a Tom Brady, like his mentor, but he got it done. He was a great game manager and great leader. Obviously, you hear Kittle and Deebo talk about him, how he's a great leader. But it's time for the two parties to move on, and I wish him the best in the future. I'll forever be grateful for him.
Yeah, I see what you mean there. So with Trey Lance kind of being the guy now, what do you see him doing for the 49ers? You guys finished second place in the NFC. So do you expect immediate production to get over the hump, which is the Super Bowl, or do you expect a little bit of a decline? Because I know you guys I'm not sure if you guys had any home field advantage in the playoffs, but you got to the NFC Championship. So your record might have been like 10 wins, 7 losses. Do you expect that to improve with Trey Lance, or what do you just want to have patience with that?
I mean, I feel like, he'll be a great quarterback for us, and he has a lot of room to improve. But I don't expect, too much of an improvement. If anything, it's the same amount of wins, if not maybe one more, but I could definitely see a little bit of a regression in terms of like 1 or 2 more losses as well.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
he's still learning, and there's a lot of room for him to improve. I mean, he was the rawest quarterback in the draft last year, coming out of North Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm pretty sure everybody would, is gonna. I wanted Justin Fields over him, but
Wow.
but
Okay.
Trey Lance, he has shades of Kaepernick. He's got the same build. He's got the same running ability. I'm sure he's gonna have the same passing attack as well. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you guys definitely have the weapons for him to flourish. Day one, kind of like how Kaepernick came in and just, he already had the weapons at his disposal. So it'll be interesting to see like how he develops. I know he has a big arm, so I actually think he's kind of similar to Justin Fields in a way, but yeah, I know he's definitely the rawest quarterback out of last year. So
Absolutely.
Brandon Aiyuk, another guy like I kind of want to talk about. So he could be in line for a big year if Deebo was to leave.
Yeah.
What do you see for him in his future? Because last year he showed a lot of promise to me.
Well, obviously, that situation at the beginning of the season was really disappointing. His playing time drastically declined, and that was
Yeah.
really annoying to watch. But I like what he showed at the end of the year. I mean, you know, I picked him up like at the right time for my fantasy squad, and he got it done. And
Yeah.
that touchdown against Cincinnati won me my matchup. But anyway, with all things considered, I mean, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement for him as well. I mean, you know, we've seen flashes in 2020 and 21. So, I think it's big step year time for him. I mean, if he can't make that big step, maybe Kyle was right at the beginning of last year, right?
Hmm.
So, but I can definitely see him being an electrifying receiver that I know and I'm sure everybody else know that he's capable of being.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like Brandon Ayuk a lot. That class that he was in for the wide receivers in 2020, I believe,
Unmatched.
it's insane. Yeah.
I,
So
I mean, aside from Rager, but we don't talk about.
yeah, there were some sad busts in there. Henry Ruggs.
Yeah. Oh man, we don't talk about him either.
I mean, I guess he wasn't necessarily a bust, but you know what I mean, just not gonna come back.
Just
So
a complete disappointment. Yeah.
yeah. Oh dang. So say Deebo Samuel was to leave in a trade, would you want a receiver back? Or like what do you thinking would be a good return?
So in the draft, I wanted them to try to get two firsts, and I
Yeah,
wanted Traylon Burks because I knew Traylon Burks could possibly be that guy to
yeah,
replace Debo in that type of role. I mean,
yeah.
Traylon Burks is, you know, kind of like a little bulldog. You know what I mean? He's probably has that same power as Debo. I mean, I didn't see too much of his film coming out of Arkansas, but you know, his ball skills and his knowledge for the game, I mean, could definitely flourish into the same amount of impact Debo has had.
Yeah. I was just thinking like who would be that wide receiver too, if Debo was to leave.
Right.
Because definitely, Debo will, go to a team and that team will definitely have to pay up for him a lot of assets, but I don't know who that wide receiver too. Maybe increase increase in targets for Kittle or just I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm
I
seeing
mean,
like the depth chart. It's not a lot of receivers here.
Jawan Jennings, I mean, he's very promising as
Oh
well
yeah,
too.
he had a good end of the season too. I liked him.
Cert- Certified third down getter. Love
Yeah,
Jawan Jennings
yeah,
over here.
yeah. That's what he does. Juwan
And
Jennings.
Danny Gray looks good too. But
Danny Gray.
yeah, SMU wide receiver. I think they got him in like the
Yep, yep,
fourth
yep.
or fifth. Yep.
Okay, yeah, there could be somebody that just steps up too. Like he could. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I don't expect too much of a drop off, but where do you see the 49ers finishing in the NFC West?
They're definitely capable of winning the division, in my opinion. But if we want to be realistic, uh, I could. They're definitely capable of finish second for like absolutely finishing second. Arizona um, is, in my opinion, right behind them, and then Seattle drastically regressed in the offseason,
Yep.
losing Russ, and then getting Drew Lock in return. I mean, yeah, you have a good tight end now in Noah Fant, but there's no way Seattle. I mean, they could surprise people. You never know. Maybe a change of scenery is what Drew Lock needed, but I can definitely see the Niners finishing second at worst in that division. In the NFC, I don't know. Maybe they'll get a wild card spot, hopefully, but
Yeah, I mean,
the
there's
NFL's a crazy landscape and it changes
Yeah,
every year. So
that's the thing. Like, I see the talent. It's kind of like with the Vikings. Like, there's talent every year, but
Mhm.
it's one of those things.
And the Vikings have a shot to win the North this year too. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think Green Bay's is going to be as big as a threat as they have been losing Devontae Adams, but maybe this is the year that Rodgers finally proves himself that he doesn't need Devontae. He can literally throw to anybody, kind of like Brady. Just put a Walmart cashier in there and you can throw the ball to him, and they can win ball games.
yeah. I remember their like 2015 run. They had just random receivers like Jeff Janis, like going crazy.
Aberderis.
Yeah, it's just like it just showed me that okay, they don't need an elite receiver, with the Packers because you have Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, the Vikings could definitely make some improvements. I'm glad that we got an offensive coach, just because like you have a little bit of stability now. Not having a new offense every other year or whatever. So that's good. But yeah, I mean the 49ers, as far as they go, I don't see them dropping off too much.
No, I mean it's all going to fall on the shoulders of Trey Lance if
Yeah.
if he doesn't play at the level that he's capable of. They're going to lose a lot of games, but he's definitely capable of playing at a high level. I mean, we all saw it at North Dakota State, and we saw flashes of it last season. Sure, he struggled. That's what all rookies do. I mean, I was a Trey Lance hater last year. I mean, he was plugged into his first game and I was frustrated. But, things change when you have to put all your faith in one guy. And, I hope he does it. I hope he really does it. And, preseason last year, he flashed. And so we can see he's a very capable guy of flashing,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I actually tried to bet one of my buddies that he would throw for more yards than Josh Allen.
This upcoming year?
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know about
but I don't think so. Luckily, he was too out of it to make the bet. I mean, whatever.
that.
Free money for him. I bet him $100, 150. He was like, nah, 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 nah.
I mean, that's good that you're high on him.
Yeah, I'm a pretty positive guy. I mean, after we lost Super Bowl 54, I thought the sky was the limit. And, then we lost Emmanuel Sanders, and then we lost Mostert and DeForest Buckner, which was, looking back on it today, is a big mistake. But I don't know, maybe in hindsight it'll be a good deal. But anyway, after we lost that Super Bowl, the sadness you
Mm.
feel, there's no type like it. I mean, I was listening to Legends by Juice WRLD. For some reason, I connected that song with them losing the Super Bowl, and now every time it comes on, I just think about that season, and I think about that game, and it's just,
Yeah.
what could have been if Jimmy could have just thrown a better ball,
Yeah. It's a tough one there.
or if Bosa wasn't held on jet chip Wasp.
Oh, yep, yep, yep.
Well,
Do you ever get frustrated with Shanahan? Because like
oh
I
my
see a lot of
God,
like
yeah,
Niners fans, they don't like him, but I don't really understand
bro.
because like they
I
smack us every time we play them, so I don't know.
I feel like every time the Niners lose, people immediately like to blame Jimmy, which is understandable. It's understandable. I mean, he's a statue in the pocket at times. I got pissed at him against Cincinnati, but like in the Dallas game, we were up 23-10, and yes, Jimmy threw a pick, but at the same time, it's just like, why? Like, what? There were like 6-7 minutes left in the game, and you have Elijah Mitchell who's been playing like a dog for the entire game, and you're throwing the ball. I mean, it's why they lost the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 51. Like, just run the ball, and then it's the same thing with Green Bay. You know, they were just the play calling was atrocious. And then the NFC Championship game, I mean, it really looked like we were going to pull it out of the bag. And then, you know, just remember that we lost Jaquaski Tart, you know, when he dropped that pick.
Dropped it. Yeah, I was like, oh, that was tough.
But, I know sometimes it's your time, other times it's not, you know. It was Aaron Donald's time. It wasn't the Niners' time. We had our shot back in 2019.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, you guys have been pretty consistent with the playoff appearances under Shanahan.
Yeah.
You turned it around pretty quickly, like from what you guys were. I think you guys had like CJ Beathard or something like that, and then made that trade for Garoppolo. Just from there on, it was just every other year, like every year playoffs, I feel like.
Yeah, peaks and valleys. Well, 18 and 20, no playoffs.
Okay, yeah. So I feel like you guys are always in the playoff picture,
Like,
you know, to a certain
right. Like, or wait, no playoffs in 17 either. So 19 and 21 were the only years we made the playoffs. But
really.
you know, yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys do damage in the playoffs. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did not expect that run at all. Like against Green Bay, I never cheered so loud in my life. I mean, after they kicked that field goal, after Deebo made that run for the first down with like 5 seconds left, and like my chair just keeps squeaking. Anyway, and it was just insane.
Yeah, that swing of momentum in that game, like, was insane. Like, I didn't expect I thought it was a boring game, right? It was like 10-9, but like I thought the Packers would just handle it in the fourth quarter, but it just, I don't know, they capitulated, and then I think it was a blocked punt.
Jordan Willis.
Yeah.
And then the Talanoa Hufanga recovered the fumble.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name, you know, I want his jersey. Talanoa Hufanga.
That's a legendary
getting the karma, or not karma, getting the momentum going. Don't want to mix up those words, but hey. And then the NFC Championship game. You know,
I knew
everybody
it was
will
going to
call
be
me
a close game, though, because like you guys are divisional foes, and it's like those games are always close.
Yeah.
And even the same thing with Dallas, right? Like you guys were like,
oh, it was 23-10 going on the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and
but
screwed it up.
I just felt like you guys had control, you know, just the fact that you can control games. Like I thought that was the most impressive thing. Like you guys fumble games, like, but you guys have control a lot of times.
Yeah. It's not like watching a Vikings game where you constantly watch them shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
You know what's odd though? Like I was thinking about this the other day. Like, yes, you know, I used to be a Vikings fan, and you know, like after watching the 2010, 11, 12 season, I was like, I'm freaking done with this heartbreak. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I watched I watched them lose in the NFC Championship game. I started liking them in 11. Watched them lose that game in 11. Lose the Super Bowl in 12. Lose the NFC Championship game in 13. And then 15, 16, 17, 18, which were pretty easy years to watch. Like when your team's losing, like you don't have to worry about getting your heart broken, but like pretty easy years to watch. And then they lose the Super Bowl. They bought Super Bowl hangover in 20, and then they lose the NFC Championship. This is so much heartbreak that I've ever endured.
Yeah.
Than ever since being a Vikings fan. I mean, I'm sure Christian, you know, all the boys from Pine Glen would argue that differently, but I mean, you know, you can talk about the 2017 NFC Championship game all you want. I mean, you know, getting to the Super Bowl, I mean, you don't want them there unless they're gonna win. So it's painful.
Yeah. I mean, just having a home Super Bowl on the line was a big thing. So the Vikings just getting like smacked like that against the Eagles was, yeah, very
Hmm.
disappointing. And just the Minneapolis Miracle, and then that was just terrible.
They squeezed all their luck out the tube. Gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the Eagles eventually win it in their home, the stadium at the Viking. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But then again, I'd rather be where the Vikings have been since then than where the Eagles are since then. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. Because,
I mean, they're
they're
like,
kind of
we still have a
surprised
ring
team.
on our finger.
Yeah, like they can talk about the Super Bowl all they want, but like they haven't been relevant since then. But anyways, uh okay. I just wanted to talk some 49ers a little bit to see where your head's at.